Why, hello there, pirates and privateers alike. Shams Nelson here from Fantastic Anatomy, and this is the first video in a new series called the How to Draw Like series, where I'm going to take different artists that I really admire and kind of break down their style and try to figure out what makes their style so unique and awesome, and then show you guys what I learned, and hopefully it'll help us all improve our character designs especially. But might be talking about other subjects depending on which artist we're talking about, but it'll probably focus on character design. So today we're talking about Brett Bean. Oh, look at that, what great timing, that's the guy there. And I really like Brett 2D Bean. Apparently 2D is like his nickname or something, because he's got such great shape language and such fun animated characters. So what we're going to do is I'm going to start by drawing some of his characters that out of this selection here, and then after that I'm going to go ahead and start to create my own characters to show you how I'll use the techniques that and the ideas that I learned by studying him to make my own characters, which hopefully should help you make your own characters. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started. What if we do one of these guys first? So the main thing about Brett's style is he has such great shape language, and what I mean by that is he uses shapes so well. So I'm doing this guy in the upper right corner, and so the basic shape, what I like to do is first find the very basic shape that he uses. So it's going to be something like that for this guy in the top right corner. Let's do the guy in the bottom right so we can compare to. So this guy is more of a round shape. You can just start off like that, I'd say, with him. So building off the top guy, we've got what other shapes are coming off of or cutting into this shape. That's how I like to think of it next. So the nose is going to be coming right off the top, and that's a square. I'm keeping it really simple for now. Then there's this kind of a triangle cut out like here for the mouth, and we've got the ear over here. And I don't always lay these out like one by one, but for the purposes of this video I want to be more organized. But yeah, so that's basically it. And then he's got these horns, but they're not a huge shape. That's the thing. It's important, I think, to think of what is the main shape and what are little cutouts like here and protrusions like here, which aren't part of the main shape but like serve the main shape, I would say. And you don't want to lose that main feel. Like you don't want to lose this blocky shape, the first one we made, because that's really what keeps the character feeling, I don't know, it just feels good. It really does. So I guess I won't go through and draw. I don't like to do time lapses and stuff because I feel like, I don't know, I like watching people draw in real time, and I think it's you can learn more from that and kind of draw along as well. But if you guys like time lapses and stuff, let me know in the comments, and I'm pretty sure we have the technology to achieve that. So another thing that I learned about Brett's style is the eyes are very like, there's a couple things about the eyes. So one thing that you'll see, not in any of these characters. So you know what, I think I'm going to leave this guy alone, and then I'll do the guy at the bottom a little bit, and then I'll go to another character that's more human so we can get a feel for that. But I think you can see how now it's just putting in the details. So let's see, how can we approach this character? What we're going to do is we're going to cut it out from this basic shape we created. So the nose part goes in a little bit, and this part comes out a little bit. And then we've got this kind of basic, kind of another triangle shape like that. Let's simplify it a little bit more even. You know, keeping it round. And I did a video on this called a shape and character design, I believe. But I'll go ahead and reiterate some of the stuff. So this guy has a lot of blocky shapes, and that's gonna squarer shapes give the feeling of something being more sturdy and reliable and a little more stoic, like having less emotion. Think of buildings, they don't really seem that emotional, or they don't seem to have a lot of character. And so yeah, so I think that reflects well in this guy. Then here we've got a rounder character, and it's interesting because he's a little monster, but the roundness actually gives him like a soft, kind of approachable feel, and that's what round shapes tend to do. They you know, like a little puppy, or no, I guess puppies aren't. Well, they have rounder shapes, but like a hamster would be kind of round, and a ball doesn't really like seem like it's very intimidating, and it's round. So so yeah, rounder shapes tend to be not as scary. Basically, like they're nice, they're friendly, they're approachable, and we love them. And so you can see this little guy, he's pretty lovable. I didn't really capture him too well. I could tweak it, but I'm not going to because, you know, that's not really the purpose here. Uh, yeah. So I think, see here, the front, it's bothering me though. But the front here is a little bigger and the eye's a little farther forward. So one thing about the eye, as I was going to say. So the eyes, what I learned from studying Brett Bean's style is, I'll go ahead and draw an eye right here. So here's the eye, and there's basically two components. I mean, this is pretty simple, but I don't know why I never really thought about it or utilized it as much. There's the top lid, which can be something just like that, and then there's the bottom lid. So here you can see we've got the bottom lid coming up a little bit more, and then the top lid is over the eye. Usually he'll do one or the other. So here you can see the brow covers up the top lid, so you don't really see that one that much. Yeah. So let's go on to another character, and hopefully you'll. It's kind of annoying. And hopefully you'll. It'll give you a better idea of what I'm talking about there. So let's see. Really like. I'll look for one that has that specific thing. Look at this great shape right there. It's so fun. Alright, this one's pretty basic. See, this one, she's a female. She's going to have rounder features. So her shape is kind of, you know, round on the bottom. And then kind of pointed like that at the top. And look at how the hair doesn't really exit. It does when it comes off the side. But right here, the shape of the head defines the hair. And so it's interesting because, I guess the ear kind of comes in a little bit more. But it's interesting because the main shape that he like decides to use kind of thing is the one that's going to, you're going to try not to break that shape. And when you do, try to do it very deliberately. So when the hair is coming off, there's a good reason for that. And guiding lines are good too to keep everything kind of in proportion. So here she's got the upper brow, like that, and then here the shape of the nose. Everything has a shape. So the shape of her nose is just a basic diamond, but you kind of forget the top part and just put the bottom. What's the shape of the mouth? I'm gonna simplify it to be a triangle, but then I'm just gonna cut out this little the top lid, something like that. And I think you can see where I'm going with this. And now, I'm not going to go into the bodies. He does really great body anatomy and stuff. I didn't study it too much. I was focusing on the face. So I'm going to leave that alone for now. But you can see that he still uses the shapes. I mean, look at this beautiful sweeping. We've got this kind of hourglass shape going on for the body there. And then you can see that it's really sticking to that. You know, these are just kind of basic shapes, Anyways, so let's go ahead and see if we can find one with the eyes. Alright, I really like what he did here. Here's another great example of the shape. I mean, look at him exploring the shapes down here. This one's so simple. You know, and I think the more simple the shape is, he often does this thing where the nose comes right off the top of the head, which I think is really cool. I like that. The simpler the shape, the more, really the more compelling the character I found. And then there's also the cheekbone. You can see here's a cheekbone, here's the cheekbone. That's another way to get some really nice sweeping shapes in there. Okay, oh here, perfect. The upper lid and the lower lid. And there's just a round eye right in there. See what I'm saying? Very simple. Here's another shape. Now we could have made this rounder, but giving it some kind of little angles. The sharper, the last shape I didn't talk about was the triangle shape. So if you have a triangle shape, that's going to be the most dangerous. It's going to convey the idea of something being dangerous. So So yeah, those are the three basic shapes: the circle, the square, block kind of shape, even if it's transformed into something like this in this case, and then a triangle. So, and I think this guy over here could be considered a kind of triangle, and he looks pretty. See, it's more rounded. See, in this one I made it more triangular, sharper, and I think he looks a little more intimidating. If I rounded him off the corners, it would soften up the feel of that character. Let's see if I do all that. You get a feel for that. I feel like now he looks a lot softer. Let's even round off that. He doesn't look nearly as intimidating anymore. Okay. Let's see what else have we got here. Alright, let's go back and oh my gosh, look at the design, look at the shapes in this character. Alright, what shapes are these? This one right here, I like this guy on the left because he's kind of a combination of shapes. You've got something like that. You've got a round piece on the bottom, and then you've got another kind of round piece. You could consider it as, you could draw it as a square too, round shape here. And yeah, so now look at, he's got the two lids, they're closed so you don't see anything, just the top lid and the bottom lid. Very simple, but very effective. And that's one of the best things, if you can be very simple and very effective. Now let's go ahead and look at a more human character. And I don't know if this is part of the, where he gets the bean, because he's 2D bean shape, but a lot of his heads, or not a lot, but I'll say some of his heads have a bean shape to him, something like that. And let's say the nose, got a kind of, you know, triangular, but look, you can make it more beany. That little chin. And then the eyes here, let's zoom in on the head since that's what we're working with. The eyes here, you can see there's the top lid, like that. There's two lines, 1, 2, that's the top lid for everything, simplified. And then you'll see that the eyeball comes in a little bit further in from the top lid. So let's say here's the nose, let's keep with the shape stuff, so you go with the shape. Alright, and then the bottom lid too, let's do that too. So the eye is going to be inside because the lids actually have a thickness. And what's happening here is that's the eyelash coming out. So that's a very important thing to remember. So here you've got this guy. See, he's even, I like how you kind of exaggerate him. It's even sunken in further. Or no, that's just the eye right there. Like that. Anyways, you get the point, and then there's just, you know, building off of it a little bit. Boom, boom. Here there's another, see here, you can cut out the shape. I guess this is coming off. So the hair comes off. Alright, mine looks a little more like Elvis. But I think you get the point. So it's got this bean shape. And let's go look at another humanoid type figure. This one, oh, here's another tip. Flatten out the heads. That's a cool thing that he does. And see, the rest is like a bean shape like this. But aside from that, the head's flattened out, you know. Again, you got the same kind of eyes. The mouth, here's another thing. The mouth he'll do when they're open. How do I describe this? Just that line like that, you know, where the lip comes in. You can get a lot of good mileage out of that kind of mouth. Instead of just like this, having that little lip dip in can really give that extra, you know. This one down here is a little too cartoony, or more cartoony. I mean, they're both cartoony, but this gives a little more character and feels just a tiny bit more realistic, I think. But anyways, and then you'll see how, okay, the ear comes off a little bit, but the hair doesn't come on the top of the head, basically, you know, because it's really sticking to that original shape. And I'm not going to draw the hair, obviously, but anyways, and then here, you know, it's really like, you kind of really stick to that shape. Alright. Here, is this a bean shape? Let's check it out. What shape are we using over here? And then after one or two more of these, I'll go ahead and do my own characters, a couple of them, so you can give you an idea of how I workout characters in this shape. So this is kind of a bean shape too, you know, something like that. It's kind of tough because it's an angle. And that's it. Same thing, you got the upper lid. Oh, here's another thing. Keep the eyebrows on a sweep. So if you can keep them on one sweep, that really gives a nice flow to it. And also another thing that I just thought of is that I feel like he keeps the eyes a little closer together. Well, at least closer together than the meat. Like the eyes will never, I like to, or I don't know if I like to, but in my standard style, the eyes will often come off the side of the head a bit like that, you know? And I've noticed that this is not something that Brett does. He keeps the eyes inside the head, which is something I actually like. So I've been trying to apply that, and it makes more sense. Eyes don't pop up the side of the head. If you want to do that, then you can, but it's not typical. So here, look, I had a line that goes like this, and all I'm doing is I'm going to cut in a little bit and cut out a little bit. But you can tell that this it keeps the strength of that original shape, and that's super important. You got the ear coming off. You know, the hair often comes off, obviously. Boom. And then the neck, make sure the neck comes out of, so if you have you can think of where the skull, the round part of the skull is, and the neck will come off of that. You know, the round part of the skull, ooh, that's tough to say, maybe like all the way over here, and the neck's kind of coming off of that. And that's how one way in general to keep your heads grounded. Alright? Alright. Cool. Let's just do one more. How about her? I like this head. So, do I have room on this page? Yeah, let's just make a little room right down here. Alright. So her shape is kind of like something like this. You could imagine things in different ways. No, I think this is pretty round. And then look, there's just a cutoff right there. That's going to give her the main character to her head. She's got a tiny, tiny nose. So one thing that Brett says is to push things, like exaggerate. And the other thing is to, I saw on one of his notes, he said, like, find the main feature. And then everything else is subordinate to that. So maybe her main feature is, I guess, the movement of her head, or could it be the tiny nose? But then everything, maybe let's say the tiny nose, everything is pointing towards that. The mouth is near it. Everything kind of exaggerates and accentuates that feature. Here she's leaning forward so they can't really see the neck because the neck's not sticking down. And then anyways, so that's it. I mean, yeah, don't need to finish this up, but just wanted to show that for the shape of the head. Cool, you can find this on his, I think it's on the Tumblr. There's a lot of good info. So this is more about the body posing, so I won't get into that. This is another great one. Alright, cool. So why don't I do my own characters? Let's do a few of those. So one exercise that I really like to do, that I did when I was doing this, is just to draw random shapes. Let's do like 5 of them maybe. And this is really fun because you never know what you'll come up with. This is going to be a tough one, so let's just do that. Give myself a challenge. And one thing I like is to keep that beaniness, so there are these little dips and stuff. And then from there, I'll first I'm going to figure out where the eyes are and which direction it's going to look. So let's say I make a line like that. Usually I like to do it for the eyebrows, and then this is going to tell me where in general the nose is and stuff. So let's go ahead and give him one of these long noses. And I'm not even thinking about what the character is going to look like at this point. I'm just trying to play with shapes. And so I want to keep it with this main thing. Another thing is the muzzle can be a shape. So let's take this muzzle and let's actually put a shape on top of the shape. Maybe that's not really as much in Brett's style, but let's go ahead and do it. One other thing is, one nice way to draw the mouth is you can create like a circle like that, and then you just cut away the edge right here. And that gives you more of a three-dimensional, like the lips kind of going in. Let's do the eyes with a top lid. Bring them a little closer together. And see, this is kind of like, that's not a very beanie shape. It was kind of very 2 lines like that kind of thing. To make it more beanie, have a thinner point and a thicker point. See that? I feel like that's so much more interesting. So let's go ahead and do that. Alright, this guy is horribly ugly. I mean, I don't really like him as a character, but the point is to experiment around a little bit. So, let's not worry about it. Alright, since I'm not digging him, I'm going to move on in a second. Alright, let's just move on. I'm not digging that one. Let's do something a little unconventional and make this one lopsided. Like the face isn't symmetrical. So maybe then I've got this triangle kind of thing, and let's use that mouth we learned about where it dips in a little bit. Okay. And this one's got the bottom lid going on. But let's not do a top lid. Let's try that. And that's what I really like to do, is just kind of try stuff. Like, what would it look like without a top lid? What would it look like without the bottom lid? So let's not make the eyebrows coming off the top. Keep it all inside the shape. That's part of the... So keeping the hair inside the shape even. Oops. And then maybe I'll have the hair pop out a little bit. Alright. Put a little round shape for the chin, and then let's imagine, okay, the skull is like that. Maybe it's coming in like that. Alright, interesting. Ugh, I'm bothered by this guy. I'm taking him out here. Get out of here, bro. You're gone. Alright, this one. Why don't we take a nose here? Another thing that's fun to do is to look at the references and say, alright, let me take some features from this character, but put him on a different thing. So let's give him the same kind of features as this guy, but now it's on a different head shape. So it'll give me a chance to kind of increase my features vocabulary, I suppose you could call it something like that. But also give me a chance to be a little bit inventive. So he's got these pointy ears. And what I mean by features vocabulary is like drawing the hair in a certain way, drawing the eyes in a certain way, drawing the nose in a certain way. Those are all different like you can, like how I learned this kind of shape from him, you know, using this kind of thing for the eyes. That is a new, like almost like a word in my vocabulary. So isn't this kind of cool? Like this guy is this guy, but he's got a different head shape. Another thing Brett does is exaggerate big time. So let's not use this one exactly, but let's take some ideas. So what if I take the idea of the ears? I'm gonna keep that. But instead, maybe I'll use a nose from something else. Maybe just a small nose like that. So this nose kind of just has this shape. See, but all he does is indicate the 2 bottom parts. And you can see a very slight indication of that on the top, which is what kind of tips me off to knowing that he's thinking about that shape. Oh, here's another cool thing. Making the dark around the eyes. See how I'm going off the side of the head? So it's okay, let me work that in there. I'm going to keep it on the head. Cool. You know, and that might be the ears right there. Give them some hairs. Alright, that's fine. Oh yeah, I wanted to keep this sweeping feeling for the eyes. This one's fine. This one I didn't really do it, but let's see if I can improve it. Oh, interesting. I mean, now he looks like a different character, but I like it. It's got a lot more, look at that. I feel like, you see these small things, they really make a difference in the character. At least I think so. Oh, this one, the challenging one. Alright, actually there's one that Brett did. Oh, here, this is cool. Look how the nose comes off of the head. So here's actually a perfect example. This is another thing I learned. You can have the nose come up here and attach right there. I mean, I could give him the beanie and stuff, but let's not do that. Let's actually show the eye somewhere like that. And maybe give him some hair. The ear is going to be back there. How does he do the lips? Lips sticking out. Okay. And maybe give him a goatee. Some kind of It's kind of creepy. And then remember the cheekbones? I haven't been utilizing that. So especially from the side view. So the skull is going to be around here. And actually you want to make sure from side view this attaches to the jaw, but this comes off of the skull. And I made a video about drawing the neck. Gesture of the head and neck, I think, is the best one to kind of, where I go over that kind of thing. So basically you have this, and then the neck comes off here, but then there's this part too. And that's going to give you the basic feel for the side view of the head. The profile view is cool. Okay, look how he, like, when he cuts out the mouth really feels like it's cut right out of the side of the head. So hold on, I'll make another layer and let's go fresh. So here's like a head. Just realized I'm having way too much fun with this and videos running long. I know I tend to make videos that run long. I personally like long videos because I kind of just draw along with them and it's just more information. If you're feeling like these videos are too long, just leave a comment and I will take that into consideration. But yeah, see, basically here you got the head and this is carved right out of it. It's like a chunk taken out. You know what I'm saying? It's terrible. But and then see, this one goes on like that kind of thing. But the point is, like, okay, let's say there's a triangle head. Anyways, what I was saying is, let me know what you like, what you don't like, and stuff like that, and I will do my best to make these videos helpful and enjoyable, but mostly helpful. I mean, enjoying yourself is super important, but when you're learning, I think helpful trumps enjoyable, but both are important. All right, let's not get into an argument about that. Here's a beautiful bean shape. So I'm thinking it's something like that. There's just this subtle on this side, and it kind of comes in like this. Another little boo boo boo, and you can tell the eyebrows sweeping in. The eyes, I like how this one I learned that the eyes don't have to be perfectly round. So this one, the eyes not like this, but rather like that, but just with these corners rounded. Adds a lot of character. I like it. Alright, good job, Brett. Alright, we saw these guys. There's some life drawings here at the end that I wanted to show you because these are more like realistic, I guess. This is the one. There's one in particular I was gonna show you. This guy on the left, because we had this long shape, kind of like this. So I feel like that's what he does. He's kind of like experimenting just with the shape and kind of being like, all right, what'll happen if I push this shape? And look here, even inside, there's this beautiful bean shape. I mean, shape is so key, and it's weird to think like, oh, like, of course you have to draw with shape. I mean, yeah, but you don't having clean shapes and well thought out shapes is like so much nicer. Like starting with the main shape, like this is an ugly shape. Like what? That's just a very boring round thing. Now let's take the same kind of boring round shape, similar. I tilted it a little more, already a little more interesting. What if I just cut out a piece like that? Now that's a beautiful shape. I like that. That's got some elegance. Like if it was doing like some modern art, like a chair would be this shape. And then you go ahead and like fill it in. And then, okay, instead of the eyebrows being like something like that, where it's not really flowing, it's all jagged. Let's go ahead and give that a beautiful flowing eyebrows and give him, give it like give it some character, something like that. I don't know what it's gonna create, but keep the eyes inside the head. Let the eyebrow go off, fine, whatever. This guy's got long eyebrows. Yeah, so much better than having a jaggedy eyebrow. And instead of just like, actually that's kind of a cool shape because it's got a little flow to it. Let's see. Well, why did that cool shape? Because it's kind of got that flow to it. Look at that. It's a flow. Everything's flowing. Oh, feels good. All right, cool. So I think that's it. Here's another one. I like this guy's shape. Real quick. Just super simple. What you can do also is just keep it really simple and loose for a while. You know. Just okay. Let me just get the shape. Got the shape. Next guy. Flat head. You know, flat head, bean shape. The hair's coming down like that. You know, round nose. Cool. Got it. Done. Moving on to the next one. This guy right here, he's got his head's kind of like this. Okay, that's it. I don't really like the shape of this guy as much, but anyways, it still helps to look into it. See, I feel like this one doesn't have as much of a flow. Maybe if we push it, then we can say, okay, how would I make this? How would I change this if I wanted to do it to my preference? And that's a great exercise to start recognizing the shapes and all these things. So yeah, that's it. Cool. I hope this has been helpful. And peace, God bless, and stay fantastic, everyone.